Right now, the mobile or laptop you're using to watch this video contains cobalt in its battery. There's a high possibility that this cobalt was mined in Congo by any of these child, who risked their life earning just 60 cents a day. Discover how China is trying to destroy America by controlling Africa's cobalt mines, and how because of our luxury gadgets and electric cars, thousands of African children die every year. They are facing issues ranging from cancer to genetic disorders. Let's uncover the secrets of this blood battery that big companies will never tell you.
Cobalt, child labor, corruption, rechargeable batteries, electric cars.
Cobalt is a mineral, without which rechargeable batteries cannot be made. It is an essential ingredient in the production of batteries for smartphones, laptops, tablets, and especially electric vehicles. The presence of cobalt in your mobile battery allows you to use it for a long time without charging, and it prevents the battery from exploding. Electric vehicles provide more mileage and keep the battery safe. Due to the increasing popularity of electric vehicles in recent years, the price and demand for cobalt have risen significantly. Moreover, 70% of the world's cobalt comes from this impoverished country Congo, a poor country in Africa. Congo, Africa's second-largest country, is a nation trapped in poverty and corruption. Technically, it should be the richest country in the world, as it is rich in many natural resources like copper, cobalt, gold, diamonds. However, due to the influence of Western countries for decades, it was under slavery, and today 61% of its population lives below the poverty line. In Congo, 20% of people depend on cobalt mining for their livelihood. There are two types of mining: industrial and small-scale mining. In small-scale mining, safety protocols and labor laws are not followed. Around 200,000 people work in these conditions, including 40,000 children, some as young as 6. These children have to crawl through narrow tunnels, where only they can fit, and often work in suffocating heat with oxygen lasting only about 20 minutes. Sometimes working for hours in these conditions without helmets, gloves, or boots. Deadly gases like cobalt continue to release in these tunnels. The risk of death is constant, and these tunnels can collapse at any moment. The children carry heavy loads for hours, walking long distances to sell the cobalt in the market, but they only earn around less than $1 for an entire day's work. Buying cobalt from a licensed company is much more expensive than buying it from children. Cobalt is a very expensive mineral, costing around $15 per pound. However, this money never reaches the poor people who are the rightful owners of it. Would you risk your life for just $1? Around 20% of the world's cobalt comes from Congo's small mines, where children work. According to a study, nearly 2,000 people die each year in these small mines. Mainly, Chinese companies buy cobalt from these mines at a cheaper price, encouraging even more children to join this deadly work. Over 50% of the world's cobalt is used in electric vehicles, with around 10 kilos of cobalt required to make a single battery. These electric batteries are essentially blood batteries. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Samsung, Dell, and Volkswagen rely heavily on cobalt from Congo. In 2019, human rights organizations filed a case against these big companies for child labor, citing the deaths of 14 children. No 6 or 7-year-old child wants to work like animals, risking their life all day long. No family wants that for their children. But poverty forces people into these dire situations. There are no other options for them. In 2018, the U.S. Department issued a list of 35 critical minerals, without which the American economy would be completely destroyed. And one of these minerals is cobalt. It was even stated that cobalt poses a national security risk to the USA because 70% of the world's cobalt comes from Congo, and China controls it. China provides both financial and military support to Congo. This means that China can destroy the USA's economy by cutting off the cobalt supply. And with the rise of electric vehicles, the world's future economy also lies in China's hands. Therefore, if the USA tries to take control of Congo in the future, like it did in Iraq or Afghanistan, it would not be surprising. The second type of mining is large-scale mining. In Congo, 15 out of 19 mining companies are Chinese, and China owns 68% of Congo's cobalt. valued at $93 billion. In return, China promised to build roads, schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure worth $3 billion. This was a very bad deal for Congo. However, the country has abundant minerals, but the government lacks the funds and resources for mining. This is why China takes advantage of this. Mining licenses were obtained through bribing ministers and judges. 80% of Congo's cobalt goes to China for refining, and then it is supplied to Europe. In Chinese companies, workers are tortured, mistreated, and beaten. They are not provided sufficient food, and their salary is only less than $2 per day. Cobalt mining releases dangerous gases like arsenic and sulfur, which are life-threatening to the workers in the mines. They work throughout the day without mask, causing permanent damage to their lungs. Surrounding the cobalt mines, there is a whole city, but there are no schools, hospitals, or roads. People even have to drink acid-contaminated water. Due to industrial dust, the DNA of nearby children is getting damaged, increasing the risk of cancer. In areas near the cobalt mines, pregnant women who are exposed to the cobalt dust are giving birth to children with deformed faces and other disabilities. Scientists believe that this is just the beginning, and as the electric vehicle industry grows, more severe disease will arise. The acid from the dust has also polluted the rivers in the area, where fish no longer survive and crops no longer grow in the soil. As a result, farmers have lost their livelihoods. Additionally, Chinese buyers use machines to measure the quality and quantity of cobalt, and through cheating at both ends, they pay the poor workers a fraction of what they deserve. The hard-earned money of these workers is taken by the Chinese, and they can do nothing because the government is complicit. Now, England and Australia are also trying to gain influence in Congo. Congo's largest cobalt processing company is CDM, a subsidiary of the Chinese company Huayu, which supplies cobalt to companies like Volkswagen for manufacturing electric vehicles. In 2019, some people from Congo filed a case against Tesla, claiming that Tesla was responsible for children working in dangerous conditions, earning only $1 a day by putting their lives at risk. Today in Congo, due to the poor and enslaved people, the amount of profit that the rich are making is unprecedented in human history. In addressing climate change and global warming, we are giving more priority to green energy, which is necessary, but we must also ensure that we do not take the wrong path in achieving this. No one should suffer. In Europe, there is a plan to phase out all petrol and diesel engine vehicles by 2035. Due to the increasing demand for technology, we often overlook who is actually making these gadgets. Therefore, in finding a solution, we need to put pressure on these large companies to stop child labor in Congo and enforce stricter laws on their supply sources. What's your opinion on this topic? Please write on comment. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe our channel. Take care.